So this is the point when it's time for Veronica's message to you and the world. So hold on.
When your eyes open in the morning, decide that you're going to expect a fragrance of love, a fragrance of freedom from all the past traumatics that might have dragged you down into the depths of despair. That today is a fresh day. And whatever happened yesterday, happened yesterday. Use the timeline to eliminate poor feeling and put it in its place yesterday. And decide that today is going to be brighter and fresher than anything you've experienced so far. You can do this on an individual basis. Don't allow others to beat you down or allow yourself to beat yourself down into a negative perspective. When you awaken, immediately go out into the sunlight and marvel at the new day that is presented to you, the empty canvas that you can change everything in. Decide to do that. Don't wallow in the past. Don't project into the future. Stay very present and allow the freshness of the day to be the opportunity that you seek.
Thank you, Veronica. I love that last line. I might use it. Veronica is here, wondering what I'm going to talk about next. Okay, these are, again, two what I would call what's it all about, Alfie questions, which I like to ask, but it's not why people generally call to talk to Veronica. One is, if you die in your sleep while dreaming, would you continue the dream as a spirit?
Hello, everyone. It is Veronica. And yes, you would continue the dream with your consciousness, which also includes your spirit. And you most likely then would create an atmosphere where you would allow yourself to discover that returning to the physical environment was no longer available. And dependent upon your belief system, you would do that as comfortably as possible.
Thank you, Veronica. And this question is from Cindy. That other one was from Ross. This is from Cindy. It says, if we incarnate over and over again for the purpose of expansion and to rise our vibrational level, is there an endpoint or goal in parentheses? Are we trying to move to another higher level being? Are we trying to return to our source entity? As I have read. Let's see what Veronica has to say.
You incarnate for experience and expansion, yes. Imagine your linear life. Would you not still be curious about things when you're 90, as you were when you were 15? So if you're in a life and you've had a couple of lives, you could still be curious and want to open up the energy to the probability of expanding even more. The idea of constantly being aware and the constant movement in your own thought process is something that you'll always want to do. We would say that on an energetic level, being in physical reality offers much. But there are also other dimensional spaces where you can continue the process. There is no real goal like, I'm going to return to source, so I'm going to evolve to a certain point and then I'm going to stop. You're never going to want to stop because your energy and your consciousness is curious and wants to know things and know more things and experience more things. So we would say it's not an endpoint. It is a constant state of evolvement. You can return to source. You can move into other dimensional spaces. You can continue on the process of being in just a linear incarnate. But there is always continuance. There's always life. There's always that vibratory moment that is exciting. Always.
Thank you, Veronica. The theme that I wanted to talk about was individuality. Individuality also applies to the different kinds of non-physical beings and entities, and I'm talking about talked to some who didn't know they were dead. They've been dead for 200 years. They died in the year 1812. And then others who were completely knew that they were dead, but, and I'll put dead in quotes, not physical.
As in everything else, there is always the word choice. It's not a standard answer. Each of you are very individualistic. You do not lose the individualness of you when you cross back into spirit. Even if you decide to blend into source, you still have the awareness of you and all the yous that you have been in other incarnations. It's not so complicated when you're out of linear reality because there's such stark parameters around linear reality that it's hard for some of you to conceive that, I have other me's. Well, does that diminish the me I am right now? And it's like, no, it doesn't. We think it's important to know that there are those of you who would choose readily to continue reincarnating endlessly because perhaps you do like the physical expression of being. Now, we talk to a lot who go, never again am I coming here. And we'd say, okay, well, when you have full knowledge of all yourself, you'll make that decision. You will remember everything that occurred here. And you take those memories with you, and you can go to other dimensional space and have experiences that evolve you, fairly similar to what linear is, although linear is very dense and vivid as an experience. If you go to another dimensional space, it might not be as forceful. And some choose to have the forceful stuff. So we would say that there are some who say, okay, I'm going back to source and I just want to, wallow in the energy of everyone. I mean, that's fine too. So there's no standard, no dictate that says, all right, this is what you're going to do and this is what you have to do. Even reincarnating into the linear, there's no one standing there pointing a finger at you saying, okay, you have to go back. You decide whether you're going to go back or not. And if there's something you want to resolve and you want to wait on it, you can. Ultimately, it is you that make all the decisions. You have counsel from other energies and guides who have gone through the process and understand it. And you also have the unconditional loving energy of your source energy. So it's all there, but you're pretty much the artist of how it all unfolds. You get guidance, but ultimately at the end of the day, there's no one judging you, no one dictating to you other than you. And that does bear a lot of responsibility. So we just want you to think about it and consider it because it is how things are.